What's happening and welcome back. How long does it take to change dot dot dot? Right there, I want you to put something in there. I want you to put change my body, change my marriage, change my bank account, change whatever. Just dot dot dot. Put something in there. We're just have a brief conversation about how long it takes to change things. And I'm gonna talk about a trait because I was able to see something today that I hadn't seen in a long or that I've actually never seen. So, welcome back. Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. That's what your channel is. But here's the thing, we're actually helping you to account for more than your life. We're talking about money and business and getting better and getting the stuff that you actually want. So, I recently took an assessment. One of these assessments, like DISC, and there's a whole bunch of them. I've done those, and I took this assessment maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I got the results back, and I looked at it. I looked at it this morning. I was looking at it. I was like, wow, look at that. And what I noticed was a huge change. So if you've ever taken a disc or the Enneagram, like there's a lot of these things. So I know I've taken disc and I've taken a couple others, 21 something. And I remember when I was introduced to them, and I remember looking at or it being assessed by my coach at the time. He was like, yeah, I mean, he just kind of gave me some insights into it because I had never taken a test like that. And so I was looking over the test I recently took, and I was thinking about what was on the old test. And I says, wow, I changed. Here's what changed. There's there's now who I am naturally really didn't change, but then there was the part that I probably needed to work on that changed the most. And the part that changed the most was the side that talks about someone being really decisive. It's like leadership. And that side went up. It's actually higher than my natural, like who I am naturally, which is kind of wild. I was looking, I says, wow, look at that. I went high. I'm now higher in that, like in that realm, not a whole lot higher, but I'm high enough to say that wow, look at that. I changed. What does that mean? If you become, think about this. If you were to become more decisive in your life, what would happen? Think about it. What is decisiveness? Decisiveness, making decisions, right? And it says I'm one to make a decision quickly. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes it's not always great because there's limitations and there's things that can happen if you simply make decisions fast. But when you're decisive, it means that you have an innate thought, or you have an innate understanding of something that you say, this is what it is, right? Because a decisive person doesn't necessarily want to waste a lot of time not just, I love thinking, going back and forth. Let's say going back and forth on something. So think about something that in your life you want to change, right? And for me, this is really good because this is now helping me to say, okay, I have the ability to change whatever it is I decide to change. And so let's get deep into this. So when we're thinking about, there's three categories: health, wealth, and relationships. Those are the three main categories in life: health, wealth, and relationships. What area of life would you like to change the most? Health, wealth, relationships. Well, I would like to change all of them. Well, you can. If what area, so if you had to choose one, which area would you like to change the most? What would make the biggest impact in your life? You know what I'm gonna choose. You sure? I chose health. I chose health first. It was a trick question. You thought I was going to choose wealth, but I chose health first. I was decisive. I said, you know what? If I got to choose, let me choose health, because here's the thing. If I ain't got no health, I ain't got no wealth. And if I ain't got no health, I ain't got no relationships. Haha. So a lot of times, most people go kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back. Man, I need to go after the money. And then they wind up high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high anxiety, stress. That's health. So when I made the decision, and you should do it too. When I'm just saying, like you should probably do it. When I made the decision that health would be my wealth, that would be the first thing that I would focus on. That was probably the moment when things started to change for me. It's been 7 years. It's been 7 years, about 7 years since I initially took one of those tests. And this is wild. The fact that I decided on my own, no one came to me and said, "Hey, take this test." I was talking to my family yesterday, and I was talking to them about, you know, like what's on the inside. And recently, I did a podcast. I talked about this in the podcast. What's on the inside, and how what's on the inside is God. Like God is on the inside of all of us. He put himself in everybody. So what was on the inside was God talking to me saying, "Hey, why don't you reach out to this person, and why don't you take that test?" Now, I didn't know exactly why I was taking the test. I mean, I knew it's going to give me some results. I had an idea. Well, I'm not going to say it. I had an idea why I was going to take the test. But now that I see the test, now that I've gotten the results for the test, I'm like, wow, he's showing me that, hey, it took you some time, but you're right there. See, sometimes you don't know how long something's going to take for a result to come. And sometimes we can't, if we are so focused on the result. But you can be focused on the result. Let me back that up. You can be very focused on the result. If we're focused on the result, and we're focused on, you know what, I'm going to just get rid of everything else so that I can do the right actions. Now that's really ideal. Like if at the time my goal was to become more decisive, which I didn't have a goal for that. I think the goal that I think I probably didn't necessarily have a goal to do any of it, but I did know that I probably needed to do better at decision making. I probably needed to do better at certain leadership traits that I probably needed to work on. So, but I didn't write them down to say that I'm working on this. I just knew that, at the end of the day, I had to figure out what leadership was for me. And on the journey, what I did figure out is that leadership is not leading people. You can't lead people if you can't lead yourself. So leading myself that was a part of my health. It wasn't even a leadership program that I took. I might have read some leadership books. It was a part of my health because I realized that I must go forward with me. I must be the best version of me. I must make sure that I'm taking care of me in all ways, in every realm that I'd like to excel in. I've got to take care of me. I've got to make sure that I'm doing decent on the food, which that's a challenge even to this day. It's sometimes it gets challenging with food. I had to make sure that I'm doing decent with the exercise. Had to make sure I'm doing decent with just getting sleep and making sure that my mind is clear and I'm free of worry and anxiety. I had to make sure that I had none of those things to make sure of that. And right when you make sure of those things, then it's like, okay, then you just feel good. Like you don't. I try not to jump to conclusions when it comes to different circumstances and situations. I'll look at stuff now. I'm like, oh, that's good. Problem comes good. And so this is like, I was listening to something. This guy named Jocko. He's a writer. I guess he's got a book out. I think he's ex-Navy SEAL or something like that. Every time things happen, he says, good, good. Why would you say good? Because why not? Why wouldn't you say good? Then if I say good after something that you might say is bad, then I've got a totally different frame I'm working from. This is good. That means there's something good here. Oh, problem just came. Good. Let's go after it. Let's solve it. Let's get to where we got to go. Good. But 7 years ago, I did not have that. I wasn't there yet. 7 years ago, I was just getting into this personal leadership game. I got a personal leadership book that I wrote that I'm going to come out with soon. I know you probably heard me talk about books. Um, it's personal leadership. This is what the book is. Personal leadership it has nothing to do with leading people, has nothing to do with people following you. It has everything to do with who you are and what you got to do. Personal leadership, a simple strategy for personal leadership is the subtitle. And so personal leadership became my North Star. I never talked about it. I never said, hey, my goal is personal leadership, leading myself. No, never did. I just showed up for me. I just said, you know what? I have to do the things that I have to do. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's nothing like wanting to do stuff with people and then they won't come with you, or they're not trying to do it at the same time. We're trying to coordinate the times together. And I got to the point where I says, let me lead me first. And if it looks good, maybe somebody will follow. I think that's what leadership is. If it looks good for people, they'll follow behind because they like the direction that you're headed in. Now, sometimes leadership comes with a position. Like you get elected, like you get a position. You just somebody put you in. So you have a title. Now, that's like the kind of leadership that doesn't necessarily mean you're a leader. Doesn't necessarily, because you got leaders that don't walk the walk, right? And I always said to myself, I don't want to be that leader. I don't want to be that leader that doesn't do what they say or doesn't walk the walk. I want when people see me leading, they see me doing everything that I'm leading about. That's what I wanted. So God will put you on a journey. He put me on a 7-year journey, but it's to infinity. It's not just a 7-year journey, but he took me 7 years that didn't have me look back and say, all right, 7 years, look. 7. What is 7? Completion. It's God's number for completion. 7 years. Wow. It's interesting, right? So how long does it take someone to change? It takes as long as it takes someone to change. Some things change fast. You could probably lose weight fast. You could probably make money fast, depending on what it is. You can definitely do it fast. There's things that you're going to do fast, and there's things that's just going to take some time. Leadership is probably one of those things that's tested over time. It's not one of those things that you'll be able to, a month from now, oh, I'm a leader now. No, because leadership is application. It's where's the track record? Show me the accomplishments. Show me exactly what happened. Show me where you was and show me where you are now. So leadership definitely is one of these things that we continue to grow in it, because the thing about leadership is that we can only lead based on what we know. So if there's something above where I'm at, I can't lead there. I can only lead what's at my level or below. And John Maxwell has a really good book, the four levels of leadership, I believe. And there's a concept in there called the law of the lid, right? It's where literally you're underneath. You are, there's a lid over you, over your leadership. And until you get better, and until you apply, you can't get over that. You can't get over the law of the lid. So leadership, we can only lead up to what we have applied. And then we can, once we've applied and then it's working for other people, which is kind of wild, then you can get promoted. So how long does it take to change? As long as it needs to. The goal is to decide, be decisive. Say, you know what? I'm going to change today. And I would say, make today the day that you say, I'm going to account for my life and I'm going to change. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the I AFYL Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. God bless. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.